The house sits alone on a long, quiet street, a solitary silhouette against the pale glow of a watchful moon. The wind whispers thinly through the bare branches, a sound like a sigh. Inside, under the low, warm light, Mary moves with a slow, deliberate grace, cleaning the remnants of the evening. The silence is thick, a comfortable blanket over the home. It feels safe. It feels familiar. Then a soft but insistent knock echoes from the front door, sharp and unexpected. Mary pauses, her hand hovering over a dusty photograph, and turns toward the sound. Anna looks up from the couch where she is reading, a questioning look on her face. Another knock, a little louder now, polite but firm. Mary walks to the door. Her footsteps are soft on the wooden floor. She opens it to reveal a thin woman on the porch, bathed in cold moonlight. The woman's face is pale, her eyes distant and hollow. Her dark coat seems to drink the light. She offers no greeting, only unnerving stillness. The guest glides inside without a word. She carries no luggage. She shows no sign of a journey. Her gaze sweeps the room, not curious, but like someone who has been there long ago. The air drops. A sudden chill fills the house. Mary closes the door. The latch clicks unnaturally loud. She offers a cup of tea. The guest accepts. Her cold fingers wrap the warm ceramic. Anna feels a prickle of unease crawl up her spine. She watches the silent visitor.
Hello, Anna.
The guest does not speak. She exhales, a soft, long breath that hangs between them. The teacup clicks the saucer, a small, sharp sound promising larger ones. To break the suffocating quiet, Mary moves to an old radio in the corner and turns the dial. A faint, tinny song begins to play, a forgotten melody that weaves itself into the room's strange new mood. The music is soft, almost fragile, yet it feels like a shield against the silence. The guest turns her head slowly, her eyes fixing on the glowing dial of the radio. Her lips begin to move, forming words, but they are not the words of the song. The silent mouthing is a tiny, discordant detail, a visual stutter that makes the comfortable room feel suddenly wrong, slightly out of sync with reality. The single lamp in the corner flickers once, then again, before settling back to its steady glow. Following the flicker, a low, almost subliminal hum begins to emanate from the walls of the house. It is a sound one might easily dismiss, the groan of an old heater or the hum of the refrigerator. Mary thinks nothing of it, but Anna, more attuned to the house's usual symphony, feels the fine hairs on her neck stand on end. The guest, however, looks up at the ceiling light and a slow, soundless smile spreads across her pale face. The smile is wide and unnatural, and it lingers just a moment too long. They attempt a conversation, questions, answers. The guest asks about the house, her voice a low, raspy whisper, like the rustle of dry leaves. When she laughs at one of Mary's stories, it is not a sound of mirth, but a strange two-note chime that hangs in the air. At the exact moment of her laugh, the radio skips, a tiny jump in the music that makes all three of them freeze for a heartbeat. The house itself seems to respond to her presence. Small, inanimate objects begin to stir with a life of their own. From the kitchen, the sharp, clear ring of a metal spoon falling onto the tiled floor cuts through the room like a tiny bell. The sound is startling in its clarity and isolation. Mary and Anna jump, but the guest remains perfectly still, her head tilting just slightly, her dark eyes following the source of the sound. Her small, precise movement is perfectly timed with the spoon's impact, as if she had conducted the fall herself, a secret and silent conductor of household chaos. The women try to regain their composure to anchor themselves in normalcy. Mary dismisses the spoon, murmuring about the old house and its quirks. Anna forces a small, tight smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Both share the unspoken thought, this is no ordinary night. Their visitor has brought a strange energy into the home. They decide it is late. Prepare. The couch lay out blankets, a pillow. The room settles into tense quiet. The low hum in the walls returns louder, more insistent. A soft whisper leaks from the hallway, a sibilant breath that forms one chilling word. Guest. The sound is thin and dry, impossibly close, yet it comes from no one in the room. It seems to come from the house itself, from the plaster, the wood of the walls. A voice filtered through decades of dust and silence, slow, deliberate, making the air heavy and cold. No one moves. No one breathes. The whisper hangs, both question and statement. The guest rises with fluid, unnatural grace. She turns and walks to the hallway steps, impossibly light shoes, nearly silent on creaking floorboards. The boards cry out under an absent weight, a small groan, a creak. The pregnant stillness of night amplifies them. Anna, driven by fear and need for answers, gets up and follows her steps, clumsy and loud. Mary stays frozen by the window. Moonlight paints a ghostly shape on the floor. Dim hall light, long shadows stretch like grasping fingers. A shadow shaped like a hand appears on the wall. The guest reaches out, presses fingertips to the wallpaper. No impression, no trace of warmth. Anna draws closer, feels intense cold radiating from that spot. The chill makes her shiver. She pulls her sweater tighter. The air holds its breath in anticipation. It ticks. First slow and heavy. It ticks. Second slow and heavy. It ticks. Third slow and heavy, like a leaden drumbeat marking a solemn procession. The sound seems to pull the other noises of the house into its rhythm. The low hum from the walls deepens in pitch, becoming a resonant thrumming you can feel in your chest. The fragile song from the radio in the living room begins to slow down, the notes stretching and warping as if the machine itself is dying. The ghost of the spoon's ring echoes from the kitchen, a faint metallic shimmer that aligns perfectly with the clock's third tick. Suddenly, the radio explodes in a violent burst of sound. A wall of pure, deafening static floods the house. In the same instant, the lights snap off, plunging the entire house into an absolute disorienting darkness. The world is gone, replaced by a thick, suffocating black. The only sound that cuts through the static's aftermath is the breathing of the guest. It is no longer a soft, distant whisper, but a loud, wet, guttural inhale and exhale, and it sounds as if it is right beside Anna's ear, hot and immediate. In the smothering dark, a new sound begins, small at first, but familiar. It is the knock from the beginning of the night, a single soft rap, then a second, then a third. But this time, the knocking isn't coming from the front door. Inside the wall, right next to them. From the floor beneath their feet, from the ceiling above. The knocks travel around the room, growing faster and harder. They multiply into a frantic, thunderous drumming that seems to shake the very foundations of the house. Anna, disoriented and terrified, reaches out a trembling hand into the blackness, searching for a wall, for Mary, for anything solid. Her fingers brush against another hand. It is the guest's hand. It is shockingly, unnaturally cold, like a stone pulled from a frozen river, and it is wet. A slick, viscous moisture coats the skin. As Anna's fingers recoil, the contact makes a small, distinct popping sound. In the immense drumming chaos, that tiny pop is as loud and sharp as a gunshot. A single clear moment of horrifying contact that makes the world hold its breath. A face appears, inches from Anna's own. It is a face, but it is not a good face. It is not the guest's face. It is something else, something ancient and wrong, that fills the small frame of light. The eyes are wide, black, depthless. The mouth stretches open, wider than any human mouth should, forming the shape of a scream. But the sound that erupts is not a human voice. Mangled radio frequencies, grinding metal. A composite of every terrible sound they have heard that night, amplified into a physical force. A single cataclysmic noise shatters the house. A sharp blast, a deep blast, white flash, burning a final terrible image onto the retina. The room fractures into a million pieces of sound and light. In that flash, the guest stands in the center of the chaos. Then she is gone. The noise is the final jump scare. The noise is the ultimate crescendo. The noise is the last beat of the terrified heart. When the lights flicker back on, the house is perfectly still, perfectly normal. The radio is playing its soft, old-timey song again. The spoon lies innocently on the kitchen floor. The blankets on the couch are neatly folded. But the guest is gone. The only evidence she was ever there is a single, delicate teacup sitting empty on the side table. Mary, shaking, reaches out a hand to steady herself on the armrest of the couch. Her fingers find a small, damp patch on the fabric. The spot is fresh and as cold as a final breath. Anna stares at Mary, her eyes wide with a terror that will never leave her. She opens her mouth to speak, to try and make sense of the impossible, but the words that come out feel alien, borrowed.
Sweet dreams.
It has the same dry, papery quality as the whisper from the walls, a final mocking echo of their departed visitor. Outside, the moon continues its silent watch. The street is quiet. The house holds its new, terrible secret, and the night smiles, waiting patiently for the next knock on the door.